Hello, everybody, and welcome to our review of 38 Spesh's new album, The 38 Strategies of Raw. My name is HSR.
My name is Chris Chrome.
And before we jump into it, we're going to do our intro bit. So if you want to skip that shit, you can check in the description to see when we start talking about Mr. 38 Spesh's new album, The 33 Strategies of Raw. All right.
38 Strategies of Raw.
So, fuck. 33 Strategies of War is the book. Anyway, sorry, I got confused. My name is HSR.
My name is Chris Chrome.
That was a little delay. That was weird.
We did it again. My bad.
Did we do it twice?
We just did.
I forgot. Oh, shit.
Guys, it's Saturday. It's been a long week. We've just been kind of really busy trying to make other things happen.
I don't know why Chris is making excuses. I just fucking forgot. All right, let's keep going. So we're going to go through this album track by track. We're going to talk about it. We're going to give our thoughts, our experiences, just kind of share what we thought, and that's kind of what we do over here. We are definitely not experts on the hip-hop world, but we are guys who are trying to learn hella lots as we go through this journey of checking out the new albums. Then we go through other albums, and the goal is to just look at this piece of art produced by a person and see what they have to say and see what's actually there. And I don't know, basically on a side quest that's more of my personal one is to prove that real hip-hop still exists, because motherfuckers keep talking a bunch of shit about how like nobody's dropping good rap anymore. Well, today's going to be another one of those days where we talk about how full of shit everybody is. Spoiler alert and all. Anyway, we care a lot about your comments, so chances are you know hell a lot more about 38 Spesh than we do. So feel free to correct us or offer additional commentary or other stuff, because I know you're all checking the comments. So if we fuck something up and you correct us in the comments, everybody wins and misinformation is not spread and all that good shit. Plus, I fucking love the comments. I'll answer everybody, even if you calling me a fucking idiot who doesn't like Eminem so much. I will totally I do like Eminem, but I get called that in the comments anytime I have an opinion. But I like the comments. They help us grow. They keep us grounded, and we always like to respond. So last week, we spoke about Boogie's new album. Which one was it? What was the Boogie album called? Fuck.
Everything's for Sale.
That's the one, which was a great fucking album. On it, though, I did give... It was almost 15 minutes. We cut and made it a whole snippet of video. A little speech about Eminem. And the quick version of the speech is Eminem did a really good verse that belonged on another album. That's a short version. It killed the vibe of the album. So if you're listening to the album and Eminem's verse comes on, it's not the same experience as checking out the single on YouTube. So for the people who heard the whole album, might agree with me. For the people who just checked the single, whatever. I mean, you didn't hear the whole album, so you won't get my point. That's just what it is. But we got this great fucking comment from the Killing Ag. Yeah, during my first listen through, M verse killed the mood of the album for me as well. Thank you. I didn't just pick it because it was like that. It was a little bit because of that, but in general, it was a good comment. It has to be a forced feature to get more attention to Boogie. He had talked about how critical he is of his music, and I can't see him being okay with that track. That's why it's a great comment, because he had heard Boogie speak on certain things that allowed him to make this opinion that's bigger than just, oh, M's on your fucking song, so it has to be a hot feature. Come on, people, grow up, man. The album was great, though. Unfortunately, I don't see it getting much traction other than that one dreaded song, and that's why it's not a good move for Boogie long run. It's just a good move for Boogie on that one single. Now a bunch of people are going to know his name and just remember the M verse. And that was my point. It's not a good look for a label owner like Shady. I'm trying to say it. As a rapper, M is genius. And because I got criticized, sorry. M is a genius rapper in the contender of GOAT position because his technical prowess is absolutely brilliant. No lie, no bullshit, all sincerity. Shady Records is not necessarily the best record label. Go on, Chris.
My only question is, what if he did a different type of verse? What if he didn't explode or show off the way he did?
It wasn't that. It was the content. It was Boogie's tone on this album, and then Rich Guy shows up complaining about his legacy. It just felt so disingenuous to me. That's not going to change. I care about certain things that are different now, more than just is the verse dope, which is part of why I'm so down for this 38 Spesh situation. Before we jump into the album though, special thanks to the patrons. They fucking are amazing. They helped us get a new camera. They really give us like the motivation to do this, because sometimes it's not always simple to wake up and review albums. But special thanks to Wendell Williams, Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, and Super Old School 1994. We appreciate y'all. You're fucking amazing. Talk a bit about that at the end. Chris, why don't you reintroduce the keyword, the album, so that we can plug it one more time right here, right now.
Well, for episode 112 of the Headspace podcast reviews, we went with 38 Spesh, 38 Strategies of Raw.
All right, so this is the part of the show where we like to contextualize how much we know about this artist.
Not much. I don't know. It was last week when you told me.
That's the story, because these are new rappers, and we're looking away from the more pop side in particular. A, because there's a higher likelihood that 38 Spesh will watch this review than, say, fucking Migos would ever watch our review or whatever. I'm not really sure that we're going to do Culture 3. But more to the point, I saw that album cover, personally, and I don't know, I kind of got distracted. I looked at the album cover again, and as you may tell, I'm a pretty big fan of Robert Greene, who wrote the 48 Laws of Power. That's the orange one over there. 50th Law, that's the one that he wrote with 50 Cent. Now, 50 Cent doesn't do the writing. Robert Greene does the writing, and 50 Cent tells him what to change, and then until they both agree. The Laws of Human Nature dropped October fucking 2018. It's a brilliant read. So 38 Spesh and Squad, if you're really down for that, cop that book. It's totally worth it in my opinion. Well, the Wu-Tang Manual was just one of the books I read this year. So I read those 3 last year, and that's why they're making a guest appearance this year, because look at the fucking album cover. It's the 33 Laws of War. We're talking about the album cover because it's so fucking relevant to why we're doing this album.
Right.
And then I had such a fucking delight when I realized there's the 38 Laws of Powder. And it's, what I'm saying is, 38 Spesh is the first rapper, the first artist to ever really get me with covers like that. It's never happened. I've never been this excited about a fucking album cover before. But just looking at that with the dollar bills in the background and just thinking about how I still have to cop that book and read it, and it just, what it tells me is that 38 Spesh read these books, hopefully, or at least knows what they're about, and so his knowledge and wisdom is coming from a place that's literally the same place I'm getting knowledge and wisdom from, the same fucking books. So how fucking cool is that we're, in our various entrepreneurial efforts, albeit not quite the same, but literally I have written on the board, slang content like dope, because I'm very inspired by the dope game in terms of how to run content distribution. So, I don't know. I just feel like if me and Mr. 38 Spesh had a conversation, it would be a fucking great one. And that's all because of his dope-ass album covers here. I didn't even look at the feature list or anything. I just assumed this was going to be a little bit about distribution guys spitting wisdom. That's what I pictured, because Robert Greene has noted that 48 Laws of Power and its other books have a high proportion of rappers who rap about the crime life who happen to love these books. So there's a high percentage of criminals, and I'm not trying to be derogatory, this is just from a metric way of putting it, who are into this shit, people on that side of the life. And it makes total sense having read the books, because it's great knowledge. I recommend everybody reads this shit. It's fucking useful. It's like reading Machiavelli's The Prince, but for the modern fucking day and with more extra sources filled in. It's so cool. All right, I'm done. I'm done nerding out on the books. But every time I look at the cover, it just gets me excited again. Anyway, I have it right there. What do you guys expect? Spotify's open. That's how we do up in here. One day when I'm rich and y'all have funded me to a point of success, I will buy every fucking album we've ever reviewed. Anyway. Chris, I don't actually know anything about 38 Spesh outside of that, actually. Do you know anything about him? I just kind of went at this for a while. And
I like the album cover. It gives me this feeling of, well, when I saw Raw, I kind of read War backwards, so I felt we're going to get some heavy adrenaline type, energetic type of lyrics. I didn't really know what type of sound I was expecting, but he is, and I'm not mistaken, Cool G Rap.
Yeah, he's from New York.
So they did an album together, and we did review Cool G Rap. So I kind of felt like maybe it's gonna be slightly that type of type of rapping, that type of knowledge, wisdom, you want to call it that. So I don't really know much about it, but I did scroll through Spotify and look at some of the other albums, and one of them is the
38 Laws of Powder.
Right. And I do remember seeing the book covers, so that also kind of triggered me to be like, okay, so this guy does know stuff. Like, he's not just rapping about whatever he sees. He is.
I can't wait to really deep. I want to talk about that a little bit later on, because it's just relevant. But yeah, I got distracted there. He's from New York, and when I hear raw though, I picture drugs, like raw, like coke, and you see the money, and then war is just raw backwards, but because it's a play on the book title, Anyway, I think I'm being boring and I cut you off.
No, it's totally fine. Either way, I don't really know much about the artist himself. This is the first time I'm going to be introduced to him. I am heavy excited for it, and we can start.
Yo, before we do start, do you think we should get like a soundboard like Joe Budden, so I could push a button and it'd be like, "Oh, Chris Chrome" every single time, just like the Rory, hi Rory and Mal. Anyway,
new Rory.
It's a piece of my life.
I can do it.
Had a drink, but can't find a river. Somebody lead us to it. The streets made me verbally.
I had an epiphany.
Oh God!
Before we talk about the songs, and maybe I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, whatever, I'll learn. You'll tell me in the comments.
Dun, dun, dun.
But I realized that maybe not a lot of people in certain demographics read as much as, say, I do. This might be a product of a million justifiable reasons. In fact, the more I read, the more I kind of learn how reading is not as common as it should be in life. So say you have a rapper like 38 Spesh, who's been around for a while, done some things in life, but has read a lot of wisdom. What if he were to take his knowledge and wisdom and take shit like these books and just kind of spit through his experiences, that wisdom, using his life as an example, and create a fucking album, right? And I genuinely believe that's what this shit is, right? Because, if we really go through this song, we'll get to Chris in a second here, but every line has this perspective of he's older now, he has wisdom, he's describing a life, but it's all good advice. Everything he says could be construed as good fucking advice,
but
reflecting proper wisdom and strategy.
But can't that be under? Because when I hear that, I kind of put that under the umbrella of a journalistic perspective. Even, for example, and I'm not putting these two up against each other, but a Nas, right? When we did Illmatic, it felt like it was journalistic. It felt like when you listen to NWA, it was journalistic. So there was this sense of, you're talking about your area, your hood, what you're doing.
But I think the main difference is I don't really think Nas was moving packs of coke. So it's journalistic. Right. He's a third person watching, documenting the environment that's around him.
I'm saying the way he presented it.
This to me feels more like a guy who's lived a life. Mm-hmm. And apparently after a statute of limitations, you are allowed to talk about shit you've done. I might be wrong. I've just been learning a lot lately. And I look at this, it's hand on, keep it moving, keep from losing, hand on keys and eyes on paper like I'm reading music.
Hey, bars.
Where was y'all when I needed schooling? Being foolish instead of buying a house, I was seeing Judas, So, you have this guy who's thinking back on a day. He knows better now.
Well,
and he's focused on this money and situation and moving forward. And he's kind of going back, he remembers being young, maybe being a little reckless, maybe buying some crazy shit, maybe kind of wishing somebody like what he's doing now, passing on his wisdom, was there to maybe pass on that wisdom to him.
Well, he follows that up. If I'm not mistaken, he goes, "We was thirsty and needed fluid. I know how to drink, but can't find a river. Somebody lead us to it."
The streets made me verbally abusive. Stay in new relations because my communication need improvement.
Right. It feels like he's aware that he didn't have some sort of guidance at certain points. it feels like like you said, it is coming from a sense of advice and kind of like, because I didn't have the guidance, I'm gonna try to show you. Like, I want you to be aware of certain
Exactly. Which in a sense is what Robert Greene is doing with these books. He's calculate. I didn't read the 50 to 1,000 books Robert Greene read. I read Robert Greene's book. So in a sense, you can almost come to this verse in this song, or any of these songs really, and just listen to him kind of spit that wisdom shit. So when you're thinking about your life and your decisions, and this is kind of corny, you can literally go, yo, what would 38 Spesh do? You know, like, think about the different scenarios he's rapped about, and especially if you are in the streets or something. Like, I'm obviously not in the streets. I'm a fucking middle class, lower middle class, basically poor, but not poor on paper, white dude from Montreal. So like, fuck, my life is pretty dorky and nerdy by comparison, but still, I feel there's a lot of wisdom here that when I navigate the nefarious office politics of middle-class America, or try to consider how to go the legal routes of making money and shit, I don't know. I feel like the more I listen to guys like him, like Benny the Butcher, even Sahai the Prince, just these guys who clearly have taken a situation and done something with it using, I guess, good decision-making skills, and then they choose to share this with other people. I find it just very admirable and really fucking cool.
Good decision-making skills based on what they're given, I would say.
So good decision-making skills. That is the definition of good. Like, based on what you're given would be implied to, like, every version of that sentence. No, I'm not trying to.
Okay. Look, I only said that just because it's like, again, like I'm like you. I'm from Canada. I'm not like from that area. So for us, like, for me at least, good decision making is like, you know, I'm not really out here selling bricks of coke. I ain't really out here moving weight or whatnot. But
you do know what it's like to go through bad experiences that might have you become almost verbally abusive, so that when you're in new relationships, you realize that your ability to communicate needs improvement.
Right. So certain things that he's saying, I can relate to. I'm talking like, again, that's why I'm just like wanting to clarify my point, because I don't want to make it sound like, you know, I disagree with a lot of shit he does. No, I understand, like, the way that he presented the song and the way that he showed the maturity, and like, I used to be doing this, but now things are different. I used to be that, and you know, like, you could see that
he doesn't really talk a lot about what he's doing now here. We just know he's doing music.
No, but I feel like the song itself is like, it's more like it's a kind of like a reflection. Like, he's not really like giving us his whole past, but he's like, these are little pieces that kind of make me who I am.
Which is amazing. And so, like, anyway, I think that from a rapping perspective, he's very, very strong.
Yes.
His wordplay is very on point. Everything's really flowing. He basically is one of those guys that every single sentence sounds like a profound prophetic statement worthy of listening to in terms of delivery.
I like his slow flow. I like his, like...
Because he says shit, you know? Like, if you want to talk about dope content, I can say that 38 Spesh read some fucking books and is able to drop wisdom. That's dope content to me. And I'm hearing that in his puns. And then, like, just to go from that communication point, he flows into another level of communication that's existing in his life. The Fed's trying to track my recent movements. Anti-bug system inside my crib hooked up to 3 computers. And then follows it in just to another area of his life. Next time you want me, send some decent shooters. So it could be the feds. It could be the crime side. It's just the fact that apparently all these bullshit attempts on my life only increase the rumors. So if you do go at him and he doesn't die, you're basically, you know, I don't know if he's making more paper off of that. It helps his rep out.
But like, I mean, in a very corny kind of way, like, oh yeah, you know, 38 Spesh is so special he can't die. It's like, well, if your shooters suck and they can't kill me, you're just adding to my, you know, my legend status. You're just adding to my what he says, the rumors.
Yeah, anyway.
I left the song at a 4. I thought it was cool. I thought it was nice. But I didn't have much more to say other than that.
I really like the beat. I think it comes in and it's got that like old school driven like beat where, you know, you're meant to just hear a dude drop some rhymes over it, but it flows nice. It's one of those beats where if you play that song back and just put it on a loop, because 38 Spesh is dropping interesting shit to think about, so you can ponder on his lyrics with a melody that like grooves behind them, where you can kind of just, it doesn't get boring, it doesn't get annoying. You really get a chance to just like play the song over and over again and just think about it. And I think that's a really cool effect that he's got going on. So I get it's a 4.5 on 5. I really like it. This is the kind of shit I want to be bumping as far as like being in my 30s and wanting to hear about success and how to get there. And you know, a lot of people might think Ty Lopez is an idiot, but if you go watch his like H3H3 podcast interview, like shit like that is really interesting to me, and I feel like I would love to have a chit chat with 38 Spesh. Is all I'm trying to say. Anyway, Everywhere I Go is the next song. I will go to Montreal because that's where I'm at, and I'm not that rich to go anywhere else right now.
You're playing, and you can make $1 million as long as you stay dedicated.
And if there's one on your team broke, then that's not a circle.
Hey,
that
bars.
That's like the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Bars.
So you take a circle, loyalty. But it's a great double entendre. So on the one hand, if you're rich, but your squad ain't rich with you, what's the fucking point? That means you're not really part of the team. Your team's not intact. Your circle's broken because everybody's eating or nobody's eating. That kind of mentality, which is fucking dope.
Right.
On the other hand, if they're broke away or they're not really trustworthy or shit, and your circle's not complete because it's broken, it's not a circle. And I love it. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. Because I read these books, so like a lot of these lines he's dropping almost just trigger shit I've read. You know, not just these ones, but in general, strategy stuff. Like, it just makes sense to me, and I get off a lot on this fucking guy. But Chris, how do you feel about this song?
I really enjoy it. I like the chorus first off. I like Klass Murda. I like how he just kind of bops with the beat. That was like the one thing that really stuck with me. So that's I want to start with that first. I find Klass Murda's got like a pretty soft beat that comes with it. I find that 38 Spesh and Klass Murda together on the beat itself, their voices are different. 38 Spesh has kind of like a deeper, raspier, rougher voice, and Klass Murda, at least on this in the chorus, kind of like more singy a little bit. Has more.
It's a good hook.
It has like a softer type of feel to it. So it was really good having both of them on the track. It felt nice. It was smooth. It was cool. Now, 38 Spesh, kind of, for me, was giving us more of, like, kind of what he does. He's mentioning things about, like, moving drugs, being in the streets, kind of having to do what you have to do to survive and try to make it out and succeed. One of the lines in verse 1 that kind of really stuck with me was, remember we had to Section 8 it, you and me, now we don't join a community unless it's gated, make sure my family's separated, and if a hater get behind these gates, this weapon gonna protect us, ain't it? Now, the fact that they want to kind of section themselves off and kind of like protect themselves and just be alone, it was pretty cool. Like, they're really focused on themselves and really that family aspect. It wasn't like him himself, it was him and his like partner, friend, or whoever. So that was really cool to also want to have like and just the thought of having the family separated, like not having everybody in the same area, so that like not everyone's always affected, you know, you can't really go after one or the other, more like for like security purposes. So that was also something cool. You get the sense that, you know, they're not ready to shoot if they have to protect anybody, have to protect themselves, so they're kind of like on site. I like how in verse 2, 38 kind of starts off like, hey, God, it all started with a pound of purple. Young told my son, I've been on the grind since your mama birthed you. My cousin got a time reversal. He was supposed to do life. He did 10, and now he got a curfew. And that kind of also stuck with me because it's like they were put in a situation that for them caused them to do certain moves, make certain decisions, and have to do certain things. And then his cousin is now kind of being treated like a kid. Like, yeah, you got in punishment for 10 years, let's say, right? But now it's like you can't even live a proper life now because you're out, you have a curfew, you got house arrest, parole, or whatever it is. So it's kind of shocking to see that there's no real way out in terms of the system for them, the way that they're kind of living. It's really like kind of hard to really understand a little bit for me, but it's not fun to hear. Like it's not fun the way that he's presenting it. It doesn't feel like it's an okay thing. Other than that, that was really the things that kind of stuck out to me. I liked the beat. I liked the track itself. I liked the hypeness in it. But it's more it's very consistent with his like slow rapping, kind of like more making the point. And I guess I'm just more of like an energy up, high energy type of music listener just for myself. But I did leave it at a 4.1.
That's fair. I definitely think that this song kind of has a degree of realness to it, and we're gonna get that the whole album because that's what his life's probably based on. You know, just. But there's some shit that I just thought was super interesting because as much as that Section 8 part's fine because it really shows like, you know, we're gonna protect our families. We're gonna keep this separate. That's what success is. It's escaping the environment. And then if you think you can penetrate it then and the law won't protect us, we got ourselves still, you know, kind of thing. And then I really appreciate just the following part where he goes, I know I'm wanted by them special agents. Went and bought a bunch of whips from Front and Bricks and collecting payments. They don't know what they just speculated. I got a team full of bosses, hard to figure who regulated. We had shoe boxes in several places. Now, like, I've read a couple of interesting books where I swear it's like, hearing lines like that is literally like the documented stories of people who have, in fact, like purchased these cars. And, you know, the feds know, but they can't prove shit. And it's like you start looking and like, and then they want to get you, but because of how tactful the situation is, because of how they are able to be tacticians with their behaviors, they're able to kind of escape it and just kind of leave it at a point where he's able to say shit. They don't know what they just speculated, what they're watching. They're following, they're paying attention, but they know, but they can't prove it. You know, they don't know it. They don't actually know the extent of what's going on due to their brilliance and how they're playing the game. And I think that's what's crazy. Like, it just, I find it very believable, at least in the sense of being practically good advice. Plus, it's just dope rhyming. The chorus bounces off nice. I definitely am far more interested in 38 Spesh on this track. I really also like right after the time reversal, which is just kind of interesting, right? Because if you get life and then that gets reversed down to 10 years, it seems like such a positive, only that, like you said, you're just locked down. But then he goes, I don't put the work inside her girdle. I put it inside her luggage. Then I make her fly that girl commercial. I thought that was a fucking brilliant line where it's like, you know, moving drugs through the girl, moving the wrist to someone else, I suppose. I mean, I get the point of what's going on there. I just like the way it sounds a lot. And when you fly, haters try to hurt you, which is a great line because he's talking about flying shit over, which allows you to become fly. And when you are fly, as in well-dressed, poppin', all that other bullshit, people gonna hate. And it's just that level of like literary lyricism really appeals to me. The song, it's another 4.5. I really liked it. I'm gonna probably listen to this guy more, and I want to go back and hear his old music already. It was where I was at 2 songs in. Next up is Empty Plates.
Yo, I just like a lid. 38, I need a breathe.
I figured it out. It's basically like every song, it's like 38 Spesh is like saying, come on over, I got a story to tell. And he just starts talking and it just sounds fucking fly every time. That's how I feel about 38 Spesh. I just want to listen to him tell me stories and shit. And I can't say that thematically we're getting a whole bunch of new shit on this track, per se. I mean, the specifics are different, but all the things I liked about it are going to be basically the same. His great rhyming ability, reporting from the corner crevices, where work for the coroner's effortless. Like, let's just talk about how well rhymed that is. Reporting, where work for. It's not like flawlessly or whatever. He says it, like, when he says it, it rhymes better, but reporting from, where work for the coroner services, coroner's effortless. Like, that's fucking great rhyming, all right? Like, that's that really well efforted shit that I don't think a lot of people are going to give this guy credit for.
Well, I actually like a lot of, like, the first half of the first verse, because I also like when he goes, he snitched, he's a tattletale, black ink put his name on his little brother's arm, every tat a tail. Like, that is also pretty cool play on words for me, but I also like how he's giving that imagery of, like putting stories on your body and having that, like...
But then the idea that by doing that, you're snitching yourself out. Like, I mean, literally every tale is a bit about being a snitch.
Yep.
But like, I'm not saying that it's necessarily positive or negative. It's just interesting to think about for me. Anyway,
I want to, well, because I like I said, I like half of the verse. So I also like when he went, I had a Mac and he had a gat as well. He was selling crack from the back and I blew his back on the back of his cell, circled back to put it back on the shelf.
That's just fucking sick.
Bring something bigger back bring something bigger back that looked like the back of an elf. That entire part, that whole start to finish there was like my favorite part in his whole first verse. Everything else was solid. Don't get me wrong. Everything else he said was solid, but the way he put this together, the way that it kind of flowed, the back and the ack and the dack, and like it was just
it's
so
not big pun, Chris.
Right, that too, but it was just so well done, and I think that it really kind of just embodies what the whole song and what he is about as well.
Well, I mean, it combines. I mean, I guess he does say Mac and a gat in the back. Anyway, but whatever. It really just kind of moves on how good of a writer he is, where he can overkill a word like back like that, just keep rhyming it, but contextually flipping its purpose to not come off corny. Because it's so easy to make that corny if you just are doing it lazily or whatever. So to some ignorant folk, that might come off like a bad rhyme, but if you really look at the grammar of it, it's extremely perfectly crafted. Plus, it sounds dope to me. And you know, he was hostile in his feelings, gun in his mouth, the Nas all in his feeling. I don't really know what the fuck that line means, but I really do like how he keeps it going with that. And I don't know. I don't know why I just started talking there, because I just really liked how that sounded, even if I don't know what it meant. It's a fucking cool line.
So then we move into verse 2, where it's Fred the Godson, and right off the bat he matches 38 just as well, just in terms of the flow, keeping up with the pace and the tone. One of the lines that really kind of stuck out to me, that was kind of like a punchline, was play with me and you'll be buried somewhere under earth. Your grave ain't dug yet. They're preparing the dirt. I just really thought that was cool. Like, I don't really have anything to say about it. It was just cool. But
it's great imagery. Like, and it sounds so mafioso boss like this
absolutely
is exactly what's going on. Like, people are like, we got people in place ready to make this happen.
Right. But then somewhere near the second half of Fred the Godson's verse is what I really like, and this is a long one, but you know Erica, but you don't know Erica's worth. She got pulled with the mother load and ain't dare let him search. See, you gotta be very alert when you're carrying another person's load like a surrogate birth. You can sit down with me preparing the work at the table with 2 spoons like we're sharing dessert. Trust. Like, just the whole... Okay, so first off, that was a really cool way to explain, like, when you're dealing with someone else's drugs, you better be on high alert and not fuck around, because, like, this is how we're going to make the money and succeed. But to tie it in with, like, stepping up as, like, a family and being, like, a step parent or whatnot, like, that really kind of just hit me, and I was just like, yo, like, there's a lot of reality in these bars. There's a lot of wisdom and real life shit that just because, like, you don't have to be, like... It's not like you have to be part of selling drugs and be in this type of life to understand what they're saying. Like, they're very clear with the connections they make. And that's something that really, really hit and stood out to me. And then just the way that he used surrogate birth, and then kind of playing it on the whole, like, being at the table and we're eating dessert like a little family, but we're in this crime game together. Like, that was just super cool. I like the entire beat. I listened to this song on repeat multiple times when I was reviewing it. It is really great. I personally gave it a 4.5.
I mean, I like it too. Freddie the Godson definitely carries on through, keeps up the rhyming. They both rhyme really well. The overall tone of the song from a rapping perspective is as good as the other two, but I'm not as into the beat, so I'm giving this one a 4.35. But let me be abundantly clear. As far as the rapping and the lyricism and the lyrics go, it's absolutely stellar. This is really just about the beat for me. That's fine. Next one is Soul Pain.
For the seeds, I heard she was shot, couldn't breathe. I dropped to my knees, started.
This song is a gorgeous song to me. I like the beat. I feel like we're right back into a good beat sound that I'm enjoying. Soulful, but a kind of groove where you can get lost in it and just, you get pensive almost. Like, it's meant to be like a heart, pouring out your heart kind of song, and I think that's exactly what we're getting here. You right off the jump, ain't showing no love. That shit is sting. I mean, it's true. People don't show love, it hurts. But it also feels like a coordinated operation against him, like a sting. It's fucking cool, his wordplay. My pain and my pleasure all came from the kitchen sink. Well, I mean, everybody knows what that means. It's crack and shit. What do you think? I ain't got enough paper to get you chain. When you blink, send a bitch to come get you, her pistol pink. That's cool, because, like, the girl could use sex in that regard as a weapon, but it could also literally be, like, a pink gun, and I know in the States they do that. People get, like, pink designer pistols and shit.
Color your guns, yeah.
I'm in Canada. Owning a gun legally is pointless, and I don't know anyone who really owns a gun these days. I mean, it's possible I do, but there's not that much gun violence that gets reported, at least in Montreal. So I'm imagining there's not. I don't want to say I know anything here. I'm just saying I imagine that our gun reality is nothing like what's going on in New York. It was around autumn time. I was in a mink having business meetings with people, official links, $1 million conversations while we getting drinks, take my kids to Egypt, see the pyramid and the Sphinx, think streets cold but I couldn't leave. Like, it's so interesting to see that he's in like this position with all this wealth and shit, but at the end of the day, even if it's dark, you almost get kind of trapped to it, you know. Ended up with a list of enemies and a book of thieves. That's one of my favorite lines, where like as life goes on, you realize the people in your circle aren't necessarily the right ones there. Or if you keep track of them all, you remember who all the bad ones are, and you end up with a really long list of people who've crossed you in life, I guess, depending on where you're at. But there's some shit in this song that I thought was really cool, like, a true hustler when you look at me. If you knew the amount of pain that I suffered, then you would agree. Sorry, that's not the right one I wanted to go with. Our educators was pushing keys, gotta watch for these haters, bitches and crooked D's, could care less about what a hooker needs. Fuck, I also picked the wrong one. I am really off today. But either way, it's still pretty good. What I really wanted to put up was we could count, but we couldn't read, learn from the George Washingtons, but never learn about the Booker T's. So I thought that was interesting because, you know, people are able to count money and they're so focused on that dollar game, but they're not reading books per se. So in that case, you're learning about George Washington or Washington's, the paper, but you're not learning about like proper famous, I think, black folk like Booker T. And I think that's a very fascinating like way. You're not learning the good, right kind of history that empowers you to make like proper decisions and shit. So your educators are pushing keys, gotta watch for these haters, bitches, and the crooked D's, could care less about a hooker niche, let me use our house from time to time so I could just cook and leave. And then he's pointing out how he's kind of cold and callous with that, because at the end of the day, there's so many people out there that aren't necessarily credible or honest. They're kind of forced to be in that situation where you almost have to use people yourself, is how I pictured it. Or if you are going to be like that, he's going to use you. End of the day, I thought it was really cool. My favorite fucking line on the album might be, watch all signs, you knew he was a thief when he stole your lighter. That's how it ends the song. And if I really think back over my life, a lighter thief tends to not always be the most credible person for their word. I now make the effort to give back lighters, but once upon a time I used to steal lighters, and you know what? My behavior reflected in the granular. It's a really great thing I will be watching for. So just something everybody can learn. Watch for lighter thieves. Boom. 38 Spesh, teaching fucking wisdom across the board. No bullshit. Look, I really like this song, even if I got a little fun. I'm a little tired. I have a vacation coming up soon. My brain's drained. But in general, I get to see 4.5. I feel like I have somebody educating me as I'm listening to these great rhymes. So I'm getting great rhymes, I'm getting great wisdom, and I'm getting dope production. As far as I'm concerned, this is fantastic fucking hip-hop.
I'll be honest, I don't really have much to say about this song. It was kind of straightforward. He kind of breaks down a lot of like these scenarios that he goes through with some of his friends, some of the women he's been with. It was a slower song. I feel like I had trouble listening to it, just like, I don't know, I don't feel like I was really interested in this song itself. I was interested in a lot of songs on this album, but this one kind of just lacked something for me. So I don't know, I wasn't too like heavily invested. But I do like the lighter thief line. I think that's something that really kind of hit me, where it's like something so small like a lighter.
Chris steals lighters, guys.
I don't intentionally steal lighters. I just put them in my pocket and I forget. I apologize.
Says a lot about his character, but he does steal lighters.
It's really interesting to really see like something so small like that can really depict so much about someone's character, or at least the way that the song is. He hasn't
stolen a lighter from me in a while, but he used to.
I've been making efforts, guys. I've been trying to do better. But it's just the way that he thinks and the way that he kind of simplifies certain scenarios to really prove a bigger point is what was really cool for me.
So yeah, that's back to like that earlier point I was making, where it's like he's taking the complex ideas that are going to be in books and understanding that not everyone's going to necessarily read the books. So he's trying to simplify complex ideas so that other people can at least get the knowledge.
Absolutely.
And that's what I find really makes him admirable and makes it worth. He's part of a gang of dudes you can trust. You know, that trust gang shit? That's what it makes me feel. Trust gang. That's what there are.
When a peace touch, I got myself in an illest situation and I never froze. I'm good with those.
For real, I'm pretty happy with the time count, considering we're like fucking 40 minutes of recording in. We've only talked about 4 of these songs so far, so that's pretty cool, man. I'm really feeling it. I feel like there's so much to be like every one of these songs could have a lyrical breakdown where every single line could be dissected. And even on this song with 4 separate rappers, that holds true. That like almost every bar tells either a story or depicts a mentality, shows some shit of realism. And it just keeps good and good. Unfortunately,
I just wish I knew who was who.
All right, so I'm gonna take guesses. I think verse 1 is Klass Murda because he has the deeper voice, and that was the deeper voice or whatever. I just felt like the voice matched the one on the chorus.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that. But man, I really like this one. The girl's coming at him for child support. Ex-bitch said she pregnant by me. Now she's screaming child support. Man, this bitch hate me. I feel lit. She about to wild in court. I ain't paying you shit. Just being honest. Bitch, I sell dope. What wages they about to garnish? And I'm like, fuck, eh? Just this hard, cold realist. Like, so you're going to come at me? You're going to try and play that legal system? So, yeah, they'll come. They'll see I make no money. You can't take shit. You can't get anything if they're not making that clean, proper money. So it doesn't matter that I have whatever money.
Right.
It matters that they can't touch it.
But just goes to, but again, like that also reinforces what we've been saying about the album is like that's strategic. Like they're always, it seems like they're always one step ahead, or at least 2-3 steps. Like,
you know what it is? I love the honesty. It's not like they're trying to duck around or whatever. He's just like, yo, I'm not paying you. Fuck that. You want to play it? It's fine. I'm just being honest. This is why. And like, there's no bullshit. It's just to the fucking point. You know, that's what appeals to me in this. I mean, and then he goes on to describe this desperate situation where you're having trouble finding drugs and you like the plug pulls up and it's just this brown, nasty ass looking fucking drugs or weed, I'm assuming. I wasn't really sure what. I'm assuming it was shit weed because it's supposed to be green. I couldn't figure out a Coke if it's ever brown. I don't know enough about Coke selling. I bet you got to take it because the only thing around, you know, Big Brother caught an attempt, but he still smiled. They're going to give him 18 if he blow trial. Just that mentality that even facing 18 years, he's still trying to keep his head up and do it proper. Like, this is such beautiful shit. Verse 2, I deduced it wasn't Special 38 and it wasn't Benny. I'm going to go with GreenDouble as verse 2. That's my guess. You guys can correct us in the comments. We won't take it bad. I like this verse. It was still pretty fucking proper. I didn't have anything really to really quote out at me, but I really enjoyed the sound of it. I love just the overall feel of it. So verse 3 might be Benny. It might be 38 Spesh. I'm not sure. I unfortunately said verse 3 was 38 Spesh on Genius, and the guy accepted it, and I realized after I don't know. So sorry. But they say 38 Special in verse 4, so maybe Benny is verse 3. Sorry, Genius person. But I love these two verses. Both of them are fucking fantastic. Both of them like really just kind of follow suit. Like, hand on my gun, other hand on the wheel, make a perfect right turn while I'm blamming the steel. Just the way he said it, the tone of the voice. It felt like the first two verses were like the intro, and now the fucking show's starting. That is honestly how I felt at this part of the song. Just from the way he's like blamming the steel, just the way he pronounces the words and shit was so dope. Uncle had to show me how to handle a skill because Pops never told me how to handle the pill. I came out the porch early, I was caught dirty, now I'm boss worthy and my main broad curvy. So he got clipped, dealt with some situations, and now he's tenured and ready to fucking go and shit. It's just so strong. Verse 4, same kind of shit. Honestly, at this point, like, the whole song is just fucking dope, and the attitude and everything. I like when he's like, told on your man you escaped from jail. 38 Special is made for kill. Lead the crime scene and take the shells. Loose lips sink ships, afraid to sail. Just, you know, consequences of snitching and shit, using great wordplay and dope rhyming and overall flowing proper. But I realized with the slower side of rap, is you really can resonate with saying powerful things in a way where the fast, trickier shit often comes off kind of vapid. Now, if you can go fast and tricky and say shit with this kind of density, that's cool. But if you're not really saying shit with this kind of density, I'm starting to find myself wanting the dense, dopely worded shit more than I want the fast, tricky shit. So, considering all 4 verses flowed in, and really, it didn't sound like a posse cut, it just sounded like 4 dudes doing the same thing. 4.5 on 5. Fucking great song.
I agree that it's a really great song, but I feel like I would just like to know who's who individually, personally. I think that they all kind of follow suit together in terms of what they're trying to bring to the table. They're all kind of giving us a description of what they've kind of been through, certain experiences and aspects of their life.
I have a question. What difference does it make who's who in terms of your actual...
I just like to know.
But in terms of your enjoyment of the song...
Because I like to know who's saying what. Like, just me personally, I like to know.
I get that. But how does that change the song?
Because I like to know who's saying
but
what.
You know, you could have clicked on the guy's name, listened to other songs, and like figured it out.
I could have.
That's not. It's not really their fault.
I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm just saying I would like to know. That's just the point I'm saying. It's nobody's fault. I'm not blaming anybody.
Okay. Now I know you want. We all know you want to know. I just want to know.
I want to know. That's all I want. But a line that I like in verse 2 was when whoever said it, spending Benjis on pennies with Benny. I like the way that he said that. That was a cool line.
I'm pretty sure that one's not Benny the Butcher.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's not him either.
I'm pretty sure that 38 Special was also mentioned somewhere there with Spesh.
But what line really hit me was the end of the first verse, and it went, life's hard. I'm doing everything I can to pay my landlord. No, I'm doing everything I can, Lord. I ain't evil. I'm just trying to pay my landlord. But like just the reality of like, they're just trying to survive. They're just trying to have a place to live, a spot to be able to just call home. And they're going through these things, and they're being betrayed, and they feel like they're nobody's loyal and stuff. Like, it's just really intense. Overall, though, I don't really have much to say about this song. Really, it's really good. I think they all match up together. They all kind of did what they had to do on the track, and I landed at a 4.3.
That's fair. I do like how they ended it with, it's our year, y'all whack, fuck bygones being bygones, trust. I love the idea that like their big word is trust. Like, it's such a powerful and important thing. I love that that's what they're getting, trust gang. Like, that's what's important, you know? Anyway, the next one is Menace to Society.
For the Menace. She fell in love with me cause she know I'm the realest. I'm a
Alright, we hear the song about the guy who like has the down to ride girl and all the things she'll do for him. That's a common one. How often does the girl show up and talk about like playing the role? And that's what we get here. This isn't like I'm also a boss ass bitch per se. This is like I'm riding shotgun with him and playing the role, but like rapping like I'm fucking a boss ass.
That's a newer thing. I feel like that's a newer thing nowadays.
I'm saying I've never heard this nuance on the song. Like I'm not saying it hasn't happened before, folks.
Oh, but we're talking the specific context of like the girl is like a ride or die. Because we have heard the songs where it's like
she's the boss too, but like she's his. Okay, what we're seeing different here is that she's like playing the girlfriend. She's not playing the equal business partner.
No, but what I'm saying is we've reviewed tracks that it's like we're arguing, I did this, and then the girl will come in and she'll like say her part, but it's like an argument fight.
Exactly. This is more like flossing in a more positive way. Like he met the girl, and it also has the context of how like he's so into this girl that it's almost like a distraction. That's like maybe as he's out there risking his shit, you know, it might be like he's thinking about her to a point that's almost too obsessive, which is cool. Like, he's really in love with this person, you know? And you know how trust is important. Every that's around me a hitter or dealer. Left her with $1 million cash, she ain't steal it. When I got my gun, she the one that conceal it. Take them panties off right now for I'll peel it. So he loves her, she trusts her, he wants to fuck her, he's just so into her. It's really cool. And it's like, a little bit unexpected. 6 tracks in, all right. We see 38 Spesh is not just down to fuck your girl. He's down to fuck his girl. And then how to feel to be in love with a Menace. And keep in mind, the intro and outro, a clip from the hospital scene of Menace to Society, great movie. Anyway, and then he questions, like, how's it feel to be in love with a Menace? And then, holy shit, we get a response from Noir, which is a cool name. Fell in love with a Menace. I ain't never fooled to run. If they come, I'll hold this gun and for the judge, I'll hold my tongue. I'm gonna be loyal. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I might not see him till it's time to go to sleep because he's out there working. At times, I often think he may not make it home to eat because his work is dangerous and shit. Because he'd be on the grind with his loading bricks. But this pussy on his mind, so he homesick. So she fucks him so good, keeps him satisfied, so he wants to come home. Sends him nasty pictures. Fucks home. He's gonna, if he wants to get her to come home quicker, but at the same time, she's like flat out, if he comes home with more money, I'll fuck him better. So it's like, it's really just such an honest approach to this dynamic of this kind of a relationship that's going on, you know? There's a lot of risk, but there's a lot of reward. But like, it just feels so like she's down for this life, you know? I think that's what we don't often get, is this is a perspective of a girl who's very down to be in this role, to play this, who's happy to be there.
That's it. It's that she's choosing to be there out of happiness. It's not like, because sometimes I feel like there's like the girls that are like, well, they're just down because like they're in some like lustful whatever, right? But she's there. She's
like the one that gets him to change, he's to the point where when he's fucking other girls or whatever, she knows that it doesn't mean anything. He's gonna come back, like, and that he gets her to like change behaviors and behave almost because she's that much better and she just understands the kind of person he is.
But that level of understanding also, like the fact that like, okay, so he's out here, you know, sleeping with other women and stuff, and she knows this, like that also plays a big role in their relationship in terms of like that trust, that understanding that like, look, I know what your life is, you know what my life is, but like when I say come home, you come home, you know, like we have this understanding. And don't they have a kid? Isn't there like a kid involved somewhere?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Have we not gone? Oh, we may not have gone to that yet.
Either way, I think this song is the best song on this album, hands down. But mostly because it blew my mind. Like I said, I guess as a reviewer, this might be where my personal bias kicks in. You hear a lot, right? I mean, I personally have now reviewed over 300 albums. Safely, I can say that. So to hear like in 300 albums to be able to go, I've never heard that before. That's a fucking exciting feeling to me. Again, doesn't mean it hasn't been done. Doesn't mean it's the first time. It's the first time I heard it. I don't think he kills it. I think he kills this track with the same level of excellence, but it's also distinctly different than everything else. It's a 5 on 5 to me. It might be my favorite song on this project.
I gave the song a 4.3. I really like the tone that it sets off. I really like getting both sides of these very independent boss-like people. I really like the way that the instrumental carries the song, but it's just not my type of song. It's more love romantic in this like gangster feel-ish boss-like way.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, why don't we talk about how when I tweeted 38 Spesh and he didn't respond to me, I felt like I was by myself on the internet.
All right, we're done.
I had to mention, stay away from folks with bad intentions, faggot niggas and broke.
I think it's really cool that he produced this like one on his own. And I don't know, I guess that's always kind of impressive. I don't know how to make beats, so it's pretty cool that he could just write it and basically make the fucking track. I want to give him props for that. On the other hand, it might be my least favorite beat on the album. So while I'm really impressed that he did it and it does sound good, something about it didn't sit 100% fun with me. Whatever. The chorus is cool. You just kind of get the picture of him sitting alone in a room, broken up, drunk, wilding out, writing this song, feeling all kind of fucked up.
I don't think just broken up. I think
or like broken. She left him.
But I don't think it's about her.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm picturing is okay. This has just happened and now he's sitting there broken.
Yep.
He's like, but simultaneously, while he's emotionally broken, his money and success is happening. And if you lose it all now, he won't cry for help. It's just such a weird, like if everything disappears, it's like, you know what, even to that end, he's not going to cry out for help. That to me is an interesting line. Like it just says a lot about the type of person he is or where he's at in life. Then you get this whole verse, which is just as good. I really like when he's like, non-straight people and broke hoes that act expensive. I don't have time because grinding how I'd rather spend it. I manage business but suffer from a lack of friendships. Fuck 90% of them. Another word that, like, there were a lot of words in there that I don't know if I can say on this podcast and get away with.
Welcome to 2019.
I mean, he can say them because whatever. I don't know that I can. Yeah, the F word, the R word.
Okay, look. So there's certain things.
Whatever.
I'm gonna take it from here.
No. I had a point to make there. I just wanted to make that tangent. Because it's like he's pointing out that, and I relate to a lot of what he was just saying there, because honestly, I don't have friends. I don't have fucking time for people. And I say that shit, and people look at me like I'm a fucking asshole, but, like, I go to work full time, do these podcasts, trying to record an album, trying to have a fucking life and build up something, and I'm focusing on getting to that next plane. And you try to deal with people, and all people seem to want to do is waste time. And then if you don't want to waste time the way that they want to waste time, you're somehow an asshole and shit. And so most of my friendships are really business arrangements. So I manage that shit. And if we can find a way to conducively grow, we can be friends. So really friends? I don't know. I probably suffer from a real lack of friendship in my life. Like, I don't have people I just want to go chill with. I have people I want to grind with. It's not the same thing. I don't have time to waste because I'm grinding.
But I mean,
and for me, that's just when I hear shit like that, it's like I feel less alone in life. I don't know if I'm supposed to be relating to the street rap, but I'm totally relating to the street rap lately a hell of a lot more than I'm relating to a lot of other things. Like, I relate a lot more to this than listening to Eminem whine about his legacy fucking fading, because I'm trying to...
Let's take Trust Gang, for example, right? So we've got 4 artists on a song who kind of seem like they're all doing the same shit. Now, they're not like identically all doing the same thing, but they all brought up a woman in their life at one point. They all brought up about moving drugs, and they all brought up about like being these type of people. So I would say there is a business aspect to their relationship.
Yeah, they're all rappers.
Right. Well, they're rappers. They all kind of run business together and stuff like that. But I think that at a certain point, that is what is considered your friendship. Like, these people, these people trust you.
Is it business first? Because if it's business first, then it's not real friends.
But here's where I'm gonna go. When you're doing something you love, is it really work then? And yes. I know it's really cliche.
What the fuck? If you don't think what you're doing is work, you are not grinding. Okay? If it's fun, yeah, it could be. But if it's fun, you're probably not grinding. Because if you don't wake up and go, I want to do anything else but sit down and fucking do that thing. Let's talk about recording a song for a quick second here.
Right.
You try to get that verse. Maybe you're amazing and you can take that shit. I'm not. I have to put effort into recording a verse. So I can tell you that 90 minutes of repeating the same 48 seconds and fucking up over and over again is not fun.
Right.
It's work.
But here's where I'm going to throw at you now is me and you were on a track and we have this, let's say, 10-minute, 15-minute break, right? And we're there doing whatever it is and we're laughing.
Chris, you stare at your phone and look at memes and you find me boring. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, just being real.
Well, yes.
The work part is dope. The we reviewing albums part.
But even this is what our friendship is. As much as it's a business, platonic, whatever you want to consider it, it's still, this is what...
But on the other hand, if we weren't doing this, would you be here? We tried to get Chris to stay after and play Mario Party, and he just dips the second he can get out.
Listen. Do you
see my point?
No, but that is me. That's not because
maybe you're on the grind and you don't have time for friends.
Oh no, I'm dealing with my own issues.
That you're focused on. And you have time for work because this is work, building online internet points of equity. But when it comes down to it, like, I mean, I'm not saying that we aren't friends. That's not the point I'm trying to make.
No, I know.
I'm trying to say that if this podcast wasn't here, would I see you very frequently? Fuck no. No offense. But I'd be too focused trying to do the next thing, and you'd be too focused trying to do the next thing.
Fair.
So when I look at my life like that, like literally my grandmother was dying, and I was putting out a song instead of going to see her, and then she died a month later. Like, I mean, it's not pleasant. These are learning experiences when you have to learn how to maybe make time for friends and family. But I relate a lot more to shit like that than say Eminem's fucking legacy. I'm really mad. I was so mad at
So salty.
You know what it was? It's that people were like, oh, everyone hated Revival. Look at you jumping on the bandwagon. By everyone, there were literally 3 people who said some shit like that. So maybe I'm exaggerating, but it made me salty. Just because the fact that I'm certain more people thought that and then didn't post the comment, and I liked Revival. So come on, don't group me with other fucking people for having an opinion. But this is my opinion on this song, is that it's dope lyrics, but that beat did not hit me as proper. And I feel like the song ends just a little bit abruptly with that one verse flow. Like you're just getting into the vibe and it just ends.
I actually like that.
I give it a 4.2. It might be the lowest grade I gave on this project, which is still pretty fucking high, all things considered. But wisdom's there. Dope things to think about is there, but I might be more inclined to skip this one song.
I took the song when he was using the By Myself. I like the different emphases he's using. You know, I drank this bottle by myself entirely. It's like he sounds kind of broken-hearted, broken up, broken. I'm going to count this money by myself. I kind of feel, and this is on the chorus, I kind of feel like there's a certain type of pride he kind of says that with. Like he worked for it. He made all the efforts. So I like the way he uses the by myself in that interpolation. Now, in terms of the verse, I like what he did. I like how he kind of explains, like, you know, I don't really have that many friends because of this. I don't really, you know, associate because of that. And it's kind of just like real, raw experiences that when you decide to start making choices for your life that are bettering you and you feel you're bettering yourself, it's growing up, it's maturing, it's doing your own path. And I think that what he's trying to say in this song is like, you got to believe in yourself. You got to do it yourself. I'm not saying that like you don't need help, that people don't need help or whatnot. No, if you can get help and somebody's willing to genuinely help you or whatnot, take it, you know, like experience, adventure, all that fun stuff. But I think the core message of this song is like, I did this on my own and that is what I know. And I believe that everybody should be working for themselves and doing for themselves what it is they want to do. Again, I'm going to say it, for themselves. I left this song with a 4. It's an okay song. I like the message more than I really actually do the song. I find the beats a little bit lacking a little bit. It wasn't too impressive. But that's just me.
Well, it wasn't just you. I kind of said the same thing. So let's have some Dark Nights, because the comments are coming.
All I had was a gas stove, was sick with a bad cold, don't leave to the...
This beat was also produced by 38 Spesh, and I have the complete amazing things to say about it. There's that high dingly sound that is so enthralling and hooks you in, the deep bassies that almost feel syncopated in its rhythm, the classic sounding, nice drum loop, like fucking proper drum machine shit. All I'm saying is this beat hit me in a way that the last beat did not. But it's very nice to see that 38 Spesh has such a versatile way of approaching things, because the truth about versatility is it means that likely not every song is going to be perceived the same by everybody. So it means some are going to be not as high graded. That's all I'm saying, even if the quality is equal. Still, I like this fucking one. I think it follows on through. I like how it just starts with, we don't follow rap trends, got locked up, came home, bought my bitch with the black Benz, had to bring cash in, moving fast thing, casino had me down to my last 10. And you just get like the sense that like he's not really into the trends. It's not, he's into this life, which involves some shit like he got locked up, which I believe happened early on in his career. He came out, you know, and he's going on and like just almost gambling with life, it feels like, as he's going and creating his little empire. And I don't know, I feel like as far as lyrics go, it is consistent with the rest of this album. I don't know that I have a lot more to say. It is just a really long verse, but it's really well done. It's the right, like, I feel like it's the right length. I really appreciated when he said, see, I motivate black folks to eat natural, stay away from meat and lactose. If it's heat, we apply toast. But let's go back to stay away from meat and lactose. If you're in Canada, you know that our new food guides came out with basically saying no lactose and no meat, because believe it or not, the meat industry and the dairy industry have basically bought off the government to lie to us forever, And so, like, just look at breakfast cereal. You know who benefits from breakfast cereal being sold to kids? Basically feeding your kids poisonous, sugary shit. Like, you think I got fat because my parents were feeding me healthy shit? No. They got me all sorts of bad habits. So now I'm, like, learning about the right shit. And you got that sugar breakfast cereal. You know who benefits? The dairy fucking industry, who sells more milk for fucking breakfast cereal. So everybody's down to feed the government lots of money to lie through fake science. And so he's right. You shouldn't eat that shit. I will begrudgingly and slowly over time learn to cut it out of my life. Begrudgingly. I fucking hate the idea of it, but it's true about how not necessary dairy and meat are, all things considered.
When you say meat, like...
Yeah, all of it. All of it's unnecessary. You don't need it. I'm not saying you can't enjoy it. I'm saying you don't need it. I'm saying it's superfluous money spending and bad for your health form of protein intake when there are smarter ways to do it. If we're talking from a science health perspective, if we're talking from a hedonistic enjoyment perspective, I'm not ready to give up meat yet. But if we're talking about from a health perspective, I guarantee you all the people who are eating mad healthy and proper probably feel better in the morning. That's all I'm trying to say. They probably have more energy and shit. I'm just, like, if your body's a temple and you're supposed to take care of it, these are the things going through my mind as my 30s have kicked in, and sometimes I'm waking up with aches and pains and realizing I might die or some shit. Anyway, I thought that was super cool. Another great line in this song is, you gotta politic with powerful minds, set the fairest price, trust. And that's where you guys gotta work together to essentially control a market intelligently to not have disruptions. Proper business people, even in the gang environment, if I understand, is about peace and money, not war and ego. So if you can politic with the right people to mutually build success, everybody fucking wins. Anyway, I gave this song a 4.5 on 5. You can eat meat. I wasn't trying to judge y'all. I was telling you what my decision-making process has been like, for the record. And that the dairy industry has in fact lied, and that unfortunately dairy is probably an evil thing in life, like Nestle. Go on, Chris.
I found the song to be kind of like a stream of consciousness in terms of being like a dark night. It felt like he was just kind of having a bad day, and he kind of just went into the booth and just kind of released a lot of emotions and just expressed how he felt about certain things, which I really think was a cool song. It followed suit with the rest of the album. The bars were there, the lyrics were there, the flow was there. The beat was pretty cool. I like this. I actually do like this beat a lot more than the last one as well. So it had a different type of bounciness to a different type of vibe. Now, what I did like was when he went, hard to fall back when all of your plugs got strong accents, act like you don't have sense, and I'm gonna pack this Mac 10 and turn you into a has-been. I like the way he said that. That was really cool. But I mean, I feel like it also shows like it is hard to kind of leave a life that you know so well. And it's easy to slip back into old habits and into old sins and into old this. It kind of just seems easier that way. So that was something really cool. I also like when he went, I came up from a pair of dice. Now I find myself preparing flights, going anywhere I like. I'm 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Like, it was cool wordplay. It was cool to see, like, he kind of grew up from something not so much having much, and then to something where he's going to live in lavish. So it was a really pretty cool song. I still left it with a 4 though.
Before we move on, that is 537.778 degrees Celsius for all the other people in the world who don't come from the States, who use the proper fucking Celsius system of temperature. Thank you. Little bit of pettiness against USA there. I don't get why y'all on Fahrenheit. It's fucking confusing when you see temperatures and I have to run a conversion to know what fucking temperature it means. Anyway, not related. Let's talk about What More, because what more will we be talking about but the song called What More?
That's all that really matter, you know what I mean?
How do you feel that Blizzard and Activision are in such trouble that people are like suing them, and that World of Warcraft may act? Oh shit, that's not what we're talking about here. What More is a celebratory fucking song in terms of telling on this project.
I'm sorry. Can you? All right, back up. You what? What Activision and what?
Activision Blizzard is the same company.
Yeah.
And they're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
The CEO that made Blizzard dope bounced. And anyway, that gaming crash we talked about in 2016 is happening.
Yes.
And that makes us prophetic, motherfucker. I'm kidding. We talked about it in November of 2016, and now there's an actual video game crash sort of happening.
So World of Warcraft is going down.
It might, and I can say that, not that it will, but it might. It won't. Well, not that it'll go down, but it will never be what it was. It's going to move more towards bullshit marketing. And just to clarify, it's not that the gaming industry is going to lose money in the way that it may have happened in the past. It's that a lot of OG players is going to go bankrupt and a lot of new guys is going to take over. Anyway,
Isn't that just like life? Like
but we called it in 2016.
Yeah, we did.
Anyway, this track is dope because it's celebratory, in my opinion. You get like a sense of him just kind of like appreciating where he's at in life is, I think, the big tone switch. I mean, I might be wrong about that, but just from the beat, from like everything that he's kind of pointing out, you know, what more can I live wealthy, kids healthy? What more can I ask for? You know, like that's he has like a goal in his mind. As I think the big takeaway I put from it, it's not just like he's working towards something specific. A lot of people just want to get wealth for the sake of wealth, but it almost feels like he wants to be able to live comfortably, and he has it like an end point, a reason to get out at a certain point.
I took it more as like his kids are that reason, like full flat.
Yeah.
He's kind of just saying like, look, at this point, my life was one way at one point, but now that I have my kids, it's like, as long as they straight, that's all that matters. And I think that's at least what I took from it. Like I took that I didn't really see, like, I mean, I guess I over kind of glanced the bigger picture of the goal chasing, because I mean I figure he has one, right? Like he's an artist, he's pursuing, he's ambitious, so I already implemented.
Well, I took it more like he's from the hood, from a darker path of life.
Right.
And he wants to make sure his kids is eating healthy.
But that's what I'm saying. Like his kids, like I feel like for me, the song is like his kids are what he's doing it for now. Like he's completely just went, my kids are my main priority.
But you see what I mean about that appreciation tone,
Yes.
like from the beat and everything?
Yes, I do. I
don't know.
I really find that the celebratory, energetic feel to this is really refreshing in a sense after kind of, and I'm not saying that the album's dark. Like this isn't a dark
And
album.
I'm not
but
even
it is
saying that
very-
this song isn't dark.
Right. But it is a lot of heavy, kind of very raw message that he's giving us throughout the album. So to have this type of beat and this type of feel
Yeah, but
to
even
it,
in this song, it's
Yeah, of
still
course.
kind of got the same tone lyrically. It's just the beat and everything makes it feel different. Like, I don't know. There's the line about freedom, if I'm not mistaken here. I might be wrong. Sorry about that. When I split the pie, I make sure it's done equally. Snitching more recently, but me, I would never speak to the people. I swore secrecy, but I found myself keeping beef secret compartment in the V that's controlled by the heated seat, and I'm quiet when I see the police. You know, he's in an environment where people might be snitching, where the game might be changing, but he is living real. He is doing his end of it. I mean, I feel like it contextually paints out his life. You know, he had his kids, and now he's kind of found his path. We kind of went over all of that. I really dug the track. I gave it a 4.5 again. I'm really thinking it's as consistent on this project, and it was something great to listen to. The chorus is nice, you know, and yeah, just left me kind of feeling in a pretty nice place, all things considered.
for me, the track landed at a 4 again.
All right, why don't we move on to Venting 2?
We was kids, you had a plug, was getting it cheaper, and we was all in the
I mean, we're ending on the album here where it feels like he's back to just like pouring out his heart and soul, letting you know just different shit that's kind of bothered him, whether it's
Well, the first verse is about his boy, and the second verse is about a girl. There are two different specific verses on how his boy kind of backstabs him and kind of went to jail, and then all this shit, and he kind of can't trust him no more. And then the second verse is about a relationship that kind of went wrong, and the girl kind of was supposed to, I don't know if it's like his girlfriend or his wife or his baby mama, but he does mention like you were supposed to be like my sister. So I feel like this is like a really close friend to him, and it's supposed to represent like how money changes people.
Then at the end of that verse, he just kind of pivots to, and to my ex-girl, I don't regret you leaving. Unless that's the same girl, I don't know. I took it as different people. Either way, that's kind of what this song is approaching. It just feels like he's using this track as almost therapy to like air out some grievances and say some last things to some people who maybe he doesn't have in his life or he doesn't speak to anymore, but shit that's just been on his mind. And again, I feel like you get the sense that he's real. He's always put other people before him. He's always been down to ride with whoever, but he gets betrayed, and that it hurts and shit, you know? And I really enjoy like kind of listening to him just kind of air it out a little bit, because you don't hear him feeling so malicious, but it's more like I'm just describing what happened and I just wanted to say my end of it. And I really like that tone that he's taking, because you really get the sense that he's a very patient guy, that like he really thinks through situations and whatnot, and I really like that. I like that the overall, like I just like that this is how he's ending the project. Like he is taking the opportunity to settle some shit in his mind so that he can further get to that goal, you know, of having peace for his family and shit. So I really enjoyed this one, and then I think it just kind of ends out the album really nice. It's just as consistent as most of what we've been talking about. The beat's kind of serious. It's got more back on that pensive tone. I give it a 4.5 on 5.
One of the lines that really stuck out to me on this song was when he went, 2 years passed and I'm still not speaking with you. Like Big said, money and family is an evil mixture. And that just really hit, because to really see, like, I grew up being told that, like, family is everything. And, like, no matter what happens, you know, family will always be there. But, like, the more I get older and the more, you know, after everything, it's kind of like you start to realize that this is true. When money starts to become a factor, when bills, finances, and life starts to really get real, let's say, the aspect of family starts to change, and that's kind of why I took that line really to heart. It was just something that really stuck out. But the song itself is beautiful in terms of just like expressing his feelings towards, and again, I don't think this is like a family member. This is somebody that he chose to be friends with. I feel like these are people that, these are not just like, you know, the whole saying, you pick your friends, you don't pick your family.
Like these are people who broke his circle.
Yeah, exactly. They broke his trust, the missing link, all that. So it was really just passionate and very kind of like sincere in a way. So I left it at a 4.2.
All right, well, that's the end of our review of the 38 Strategies of Raw from Mr. 38 Spesh. For this project, I gave it a 4.505. I'm really like feeling the vibe of this project. It's another wise dude dropping bars, keeping it real. Like I don't know. I feel like if this is what's coming in hip hop, this more lyrically driven, these dope bars, like I'm really happy with what I'm seeing popping out as far as new albums go, and I hope that they can take over where guys like, say, Migos may have once had their spot by, like, really bringing a legitimacy back to it, which hopefully happens. But, people tend to not gravitate towards real shit these days, so we'll see. But I really like it. I think if you're into that street shit, you're going to dig it. If you're into that wise shit, you're going to dig it. If you like lyrical shit, you should dig it. I mean, no, it's not trickety trick rap, but that's fine. It's that slower, message-driven, hard-hitting. Every song is consistent. Every song brings it. The bars are not wasted. If you're looking for a lot of stylistic variety and that's what gets you going, you're probably not going to feel this as much, but that's fine. That's your preference. I found myself really just drawn to listening to him share his wisdom and really take that opportunity to use his platform to take some complex ideas and like share it with the youth and to share it with people who can actually benefit from it instead of hoarding the knowledge for himself. I feel like he's a selfless dude, and I'm going to say it one more time. I love to chat with 38 Spesh. He sounds like a really smart dude. Benny the Butcher, too. He also sounds like a smart dude. Pretty sure all the guys they fuck around with in that squad are like smart dudes. Anyway, that's my thoughts.
I enjoy the album. I think that for a first introduction to 38 Spesh, this was good. I like his wisdom. I like his strategic movements that you kind of get from the songs. I like how he displays his boss mentality on it. I actually was telling myself that I want to go back to this album and really sit down again to it and kind of really sink myself into it, because there's something about the way that he presents his lyrics that really is like hard hitting, and I kind of aspire to want to get to that level as well in terms of being an artist myself. So the album landed at a 4.11 for me. I think it's really good. I don't know if I think I'd say like it's a classic yet or whatnot like that, but it's good.
That's fair. Thank y'all for watching. We very much appreciate you joining us on this Saturday or whenever day you watch this on. We just gave our thoughts and opinions, and we're more interested in hearing what you think, especially those of you that are like hardcore fans or people who know him or people who are just been around for a while. Anything you want to share, I would love to hear it. Anecdotes, corrections, interpretations, even just what your favorite songs are. All that shit's super interesting to me. Special thanks to the patrons again at Linda Williams, Super Old School 1994, Chris Prado, and Ismail Gadamsi. They helped support us. They helped us get a new little camera for the show. They get to participate in a request pool where they get to tell us once a month what album to do. So you can check that out if you want to help us get to that next level. And I'm telling you, we really need that help. It would be nice. If not, feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave that comment. We'll talk there. We're small enough to still pull that off. I also dropped the project on Spotify and iTunes and all that shit recently. The link to that's in the description of the video. So thank y'all for watching. We'll be back again with more reviews soon. Peace.